still frame of an actual clip. All right, folks, it's Sunday, or as every PR rep would say, it's race day. Suited and booted. Today we race. Before the day gets chaotic, I've been trying to do a little bit more sort of walk through my mindset on this vlog. I was just going to talk about I never really talk about the editing process, and that seems to be what I get a lot of questions about. So I was just going to like share some things. So I made an edit yesterday for Heart of Racing after their hyperpole, and that'll be playing on the screen now. Two sort of specific things that I want to point out about this edit. One, I have been wanting to do like a picture-in-picture type of thing where I have a couple photos on the screen, but it's not like full screen because that's just a little bit, I've done that in the past and it's maybe just a little bit boring. So for this one, I left the sort of video playing sort of behind it on a bit of a border, trying to just, I don't know, add a little bit more, I don't want to say confusion, but add a little bit more visual interest than I have in the past. And then on the last photo, I transitioned out. It was a still frame of an actual clip, and then it transitions out into that clip. So that was the first sort of new thing I would say I tried. The second one, as you know, I was complaining about my sort of issues with on free practice 2 on the pit lane, that I just couldn't quite get my timing right. I didn't get a lot of footage. Something I've sort of started doing is trying to find ways to utilize a lack of footage. So if I have footage debt, finding effects that I can put on that still create that visual interest. So in this case, I put a really fast sequence of clips together of the few frames that were actually good from that session. I did a little sort of transform and motion blur piece on each of those on an adjustment layer in Davinci, and then I end with the wheel gun, like a very prominent ending wheel gun, which is actually not even from this race. To be honest, that clip is from Le Mans. But because I shot it so tight, you can't tell that it's not from here. So just to create a bit of what I would say a creative way to try to utilize footage, that lack of footage. So just a little bit of insight into the edit. I'm gonna go get things set up. I'm actually gonna start on today's reel now, so that I have a little bit less to do later. And then it's time to go racing. I'm pretty excited. All right, on our way to the grid walk. They have the speakers on level 1000 this weekend, playing music and broadcast audio. But so just to give you an insight here, like what I'm looking for on these grid walks, most of this is typically used in the long form edits I would make, like recap edits. And what I'm sort of into right now is sort of, I don't mind shaky footage. I used to be like try to be smooth on everything. I don't mind being shaky. I like movement. So I like walking a little bit with a little bit of shake in there. I like walking towards my subject, like sort of parallaxing things like clouds and things like that. So I think that builds energy. And I'm into that right now, and that's what I'm looking for on this grid walk.
Money shop, baby.
Obviously very busy down here. Lots of people. I'm being completely honest, I'm starting to feel a little under the weather. Good timing. Okay, interjecting really quickly. This is future Greg. This is post-race Greg. It's late, as you can see. I was a bit busy. I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say I've been a bit busy. But if you like this video, if you like this new format where I'm giving a lot of tips, please hit the like button now. And back to past Greg. My past Greg, your current Greg. It's race time at Circuit of the Americas. It's 6 hours, a lot of fans. Drivers are ready, starting on pole. Let's go.
Okay, this is obviously not cota. I'm back home. I was getting very sick at the time, so I wasn't updating quite as much as I wanted to, but I wanted to share some insights about sort of what I was thinking here. You can see I worked the turn 1 grandstands quite a lot. I was shooting pretty wide. It was the most fans they've ever had at the sports car race here at cota, so I definitely wanted to show the fans, and I just wanted everything to seem like it had a lot more action. The turn 1 shot here is kind of boring with the cars just sort of coming directly at you. It's a cool scene with the elevation, but in terms of action, it's a little bit lacking. So I worked the grandstands for a long time. I was super happy with how that stuff was coming out. I really liked the wide look. I really love all the fans being in the foreground. The cars look really fast. I found a few cool angles like in the fencing and stuff, and so I was pretty happy with that up to this point. I know this is kind of weird breaking the vlog up like this, but I just wanted to provide some insight that I wasn't able to do because I wasn't feeling well on Sunday.
All right, working the grandstands is done. Took all of 5 minutes to get sweat in my eyeballs, so I definitely think I am getting sick, so I'll deal with that later, but look at my arms. It's very sweaty. I don't think it's gonna get better.
Post-event Greg here again. That ended up being a very long session on track. I spent roughly 3 hours on track shooting. Because the race is so much shorter and I was still trying to provide that long form edit for my client, the 2 races I've done so far this year are 10 hours and 24 hours, so a lot more time than the 6-hour race we had this day. So I put a big commitment in shooting stuff on track. And while I got a lot of good stuff on track, at this point in the weekend I didn't have a lot from the pit lane, and it was time for me to sort of hightail it back to the paddock and see what I could get from the pits.
Did a little stint on the pit lane, a decent stop. The buddy helped me out, shot overhead as well, so I think I've got enough. I would love to get one more, but I really need to focus back on track. So if it looks like I'm glistening, it's because I'm very sweaty. This fire suit is something else, so I'm gonna run back, try to get out on track. We got about 2.5 hours left. Not a great day for the show. Lacking on updates just a little bit. My throat is definitely starting to hurt. feeling like I said, I'm not feeling amazing, but I mean, I'll make it to the end, of course. But I did a little session in the shuttle van, like I did in Qatar. I tried to like hold it out the window. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's so hard. I should take a gimbal, but I mean, I did it. I like the look. I like the shaky look, but we're leading the race. There's about 40 minutes left, so
Frustrating for
really keeping my fingers crossed. It would be mega to win on US soil. So I'm gonna head back, go to the pit lane, and keep my fingers crossed. We won. Fans are hyped.
And that was the end of a very long day that ended just as good as it possibly could have. I didn't know how to show the celebration shots I got better than I did in the actual edit that I produced for the client. So I'm going to show the timeline and the celebration section of the edit that I did. But before I do, I just want to say a sort of big congratulations to the Heart of Racing. I've been with this team for a little over 3 years now. They sort of took a chance on me when I was just getting started, and to see them go from winning SRO races to IMSA races and now World Endurance Championship races, there's no team more deserving than this team. And it's super special to be a part of this whole experience. Now, before I show the celebration part, I do want to note that the first clip of the checkered flag shot was actually shot by Mark Urban. He's a great friend. He helped me out. I was obviously in position to shoot the celebration on the pit wall, and he provided me with this clip. It's a fantastic clip, and it really sets the celebration part of the image off. But with all that said, here is the team celebrating their first WEC win.
The checkered flag is out for Aston Martin, covering the WEC and their third class win in WEC. And of course, the first for the Aston Martin Vantage Grade. Having taken their first win with that car to back it up with the first win. Absolutely brilliant to win. Daniel Mancinelli and Ian James taking the ride with Alex Rivera.
Insane to get a W at home. Crowd in America, American team, doesn't get much better than that. It's phenomenal. It's a dream come true, and very, very proud of the whole team. Paddock Racing, Aston Martin Racing, Seattle Children's Hospital, everybody involved in this project did a phenomenal job. So very, very happy today.
On the next episode, all right, it's time to figure out how to get you clients.